We saw on your pipeline that you have a lot of indications for Brilaroxazine, but you also have another candidate on there as well, RP1208. What are you working on here? It's a triple reuptake inhibitor. What are you going to pursue with that, and when might you allocate more resources to that asset?
Yeah, triple reuptake inhibitor target compound RP1208 is an in-house discovered molecule. We do have granted patents in US, Europe, and additional 15 countries. So our current resource is fully allocated to advancing phase 3 program in schizophrenia. So we believe once the top line data we get for schizophrenia phase 3 study, so our market cap should go up, and then at that time we will have additional funding through non-dilutive or raising additional capital at a higher market cap, like many other companies pursue that approach. We are no different than the other companies. So the bottom line is increasing the market cap as we make with the clinical progress. So that would allow us to have a financial resource to advance other drug, RP1208. We, based on the pharmacology profile of that molecule, we believe that could be a treatment of choice for obesity, weight management, and clinical depression, because many depression patients, we see weight gain and then obesity and then depression. They're closely associated diseases. Right.
Yeah. And now, do you own all the rights to that product?
Yes.
Or do you share? Okay.
No, this is discovered in-house. Both our most advanced molecule, Brilaroxazine, as well as RP1208, both discovered in-house.
Okay.
The company owns.
So you don't have to share any royalties with anyone else. That's a big positive, because a lot of companies owe 5, 10, 15, sometimes 15% to somebody else, which really takes a cut out of your.
This is both the molecules. Company owns the patent rights, 100% patent rights.
One topic I wanted to bring up with you, and we had talked about this earlier, just the M&A space, and I think you had said that there hadn't been any M&A for a schizophrenia drug, not CNS, but schizophrenia drug in 15 years or something like that. There's been one in 15 years. So what's your sense of the M&A environment right now, for CNS in general, I guess, and then how does that set things up for Reviva, assuming your phase 3s turn out great?
This trend we have been noticing in the industry. So in the last, to my knowledge, almost 10 to 15 years, there's hardly any M&A happened in the neuropsychiatric space, especially in the schizophrenia or depression or a closely related space. So possibly due to the industry focus, especially major pharmaceutical companies' focus, have been in the oncology space and the rare diseases in the last 10 to 15 years, if you notice carefully. So now, recently, lately, maybe in the last year or so, that focus has been shifting to neuropsychiatry
I've noticed
and then
myself.
CNS space.
Yeah,
that's a good trend, because we believe there are few companies focused on developing in the new drugs in the CNS space, especially in the neuropsychiatry. There's a huge unmet need.
Sure.
So the renewed interest or a shift in the CNS space with major pharma, that would immensely support the smaller companies to focus on that, further support innovation in this space and then for new drug pipeline. So that's a good trend.
It certainly seems like that's where the puck is going, so to speak. I thought we could also talk about some of the other work that's being done in the space. One of your peers, Neuron, they're developing evenamide for the treatment of resistant schizophrenia. I think it's an adjunct drug. How are they doing? And assuming that the FDA looks favorably upon what they're doing, how does that set up the stage for your drug?
So as I said, the schizophrenia, the current treatment options are known to cause a variety of side effects. So the side effects often they are irreversible, and then to treat that drug-induced disease, so we need other medications.
Right.
So this is if I'm correct, the Neuron drug is focused on providing solution to treatment to tardive dyskinesia.
Okay.
This is a side effect caused by some of the drugs currently in the market, available treatment options. So, on the other hand, if you look at our data, our drug doesn't cause tardive dyskinesia.
Right. And we were talking about this before. The side effect profile is so favorable for Brilaroxazine.
Yeah.
It may obviate the need for some of these other drugs that address the side effects, right?
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point that you bring up. And then another company working on a candidate in the space is Karuna.
Yeah.
They've got their drug called CAR-XT.
Yeah.
What do you think about what they're working on? It's a little bit different mechanism of action than Brilaroxazine. How do they fit into this space?
Sure. Often we talk about a new mechanism of action that could be a game changer. We often hear. Mm-hmm. So always a new innovation is good, but as a drug developer, I look at it in a different angle, these things. If a new mechanism is there, so every new mechanism can't be a game changer. Mm-hmm. So I would look into it, what that mechanism will do to address the biological pathway. Mm-hmm. So is it a new mechanism, or the receptor target is a cause for schizophrenia, or the different receptor or a dysfunctionality is a cause for schizophrenia? And then there are two ways to develop drug. One, you develop a drug to treat directly to modulate those dysfunction and then make it correction to that dysfunction. That's the way to treat. Other one is you indirectly approach that one to correct that dysfunction. So the indirect approach, what happens, it has certain limitations. So the thing is, at low dose in the past, what we have seen, like glutamate is another target, beta-pertin is a classic example, many companies focus. At low dose, showed a kind of a weaker efficacy, I would say, and then when they try to increase the dose to clinically meaningful efficacy to get, then clinically it could not translate. Mm-hmm. So there is a limit to, when you indirectly modulate, there is a limit to increase the dose. So either it can cause the side effect, or increasing the dose, we do not see improvement in efficacy beyond that beyond that dose. Mm-hmm. So the overall, what I mean to say here is a new mechanism, it is good, but I would be careful what that new mechanism is really going to address the dysfunctional biology. So are we able to see all the, connect the dot, what the dysfunctional, that's important. Second thing is, in the treatment of schizophrenia, combination therapy, I would be very careful. Mm-hmm. The reason for that is schizophrenia patients as such, they suffer from multiple diseases, whether it is a drug-induced or
right. So
organic
it sounds
cause.
like if you have combination therapies, you
Yes.
may just be piling drug upon drug.
Correct.
And
they take
the side
multiple
effects could just
medications.
be-
Majority patients,
Yeah.
they take more than 3 medications. So the combination therapy can
That's gonna add another
introduce
one or two onto
additional
that.
one drug,
Yeah.
or an adjunctive therapy can increase another drug more. So basically, it could lead to a mini breakfast bowl. That could increase the side effect. But again, if we have to wait and see how this all innovative approach will turn out in the treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would be very careful because having seen in this patient population their treatment approach in multiple medication, there is a potential to increase side effects when a patient takes more than 2 medications.
Okay. Great. Well, I think I learned a lot about what you've been working on the last few days since we've been talking about these topics. So, Dr. Bhat, thank you so much for joining us again. I think we're going to talk again in a couple months.
Sure. We can meet again. We are expecting top-line data in a couple of months.
We can talk about how that comes out. I mean, obviously, we're hoping for some very positive news there that matches or exceeds what we saw in the phase 2. So, looking forward to it. Thanks again.
Thank you.
And appreciate being with you here today.
Thank you, John.
All right.